All right. Deep breath, everyone. Once again, I like to think because of the level of importance it comes to your messaging and your marketing, I don't think people nearly learn and practice the skill set enough. And so kudos to you all for being here, live, recording, wherever you're taking this in, because I think this is a skill that just simply compounds where one skill compounds on the next skill and the next skill and the next skill. And if you're doing this, if you've got a slot in your calendar every week where you're practicing the skills and then implementing them throughout the week, you're going to be able to help more people, right? I think you're all here because you realize that. So well done. It's not enough to just wing it in the world of marketing and business, right? The learning cycle is way too long. Uh, if you're here and you're doing things strategically, then you're going to be able to help more people, make more money, grow your communities, have more people say yes to your stuff. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go through a little bit about what we've covered so far on these calls and then what we're up to next. Who can see my screen here? Show of hands, you can see my screen, yes? All right. All right, that's all I need. Current slide here. All right, marketing mastermind call. I don't know what number, but you're here. so far, the main things we've covered in the last 6 weeks ish has been how to find a priority problem that you can actually solve for people. Top of mind, investable, measurable, right? Things that are actually engaging for people. Making your outcome more visual. So, how to make sure your outcome that you're promoting, that you're marketing is visual so that when people see it in their mind's eye, they can add value to it and they can therefore jump in with more enthusiasm. We talked a little bit about your outreach and your personal messages. So we talked a little bit about how to build relationships. I'm wanting to go more into that in future calls because I know some people struggle a little bit with how do I generate those conversations? Who do I send my message to? What do I ask them? When is it too early or too late to ask for, for them to jump into my stuff? I'm going to go over all of that in detail in a couple of weeks. We also talked a little bit about the business habits, healthy business habits that matter most, what to really focus on to get the most out of your time, energy, and effort. Because if you're sitting at your computer screen and you're like, all right, I'm working on my business and you're not sure what you're doing, and so you spend 30 minutes tweaking the colors on your website, you're not really doing a whole lot, hey? You're not really moving forward in ways that are effective and efficient. So what we're going to do this week is how to differentiate yourself from the market, especially if your market is busy, using your vehicle of transformation and understanding a domino belief. So what I mean here, your vehicle is your method, modality, strategy that gets someone from A to B. And so when you understand that you're putting out a message, and if your message is different than all the other messages out there, if it's unique, if it's somewhat perceived as more valuable, more people are going to say yes, correct? And so for someone to jump into your stuff, they need to believe something about you and your message that makes you more valuable than the alternatives. That's where the domino belief comes into it. Show of hands, who here's heard of like the domino belief in a business sense? A domino belief is the belief someone needs to hold in order to jump into your stuff. It's the domino belief that they need to embody to know that you're the right person for them. So let me go into that a little bit. You can be specific and different to stand out in multiple ways. These are the main ones we've covered so far. So you can be unique and stand out in terms of the people that you help, which is your niche, the demographic of the people that you help. So, for example, if I say, "Hey, I'm a business coach. Um, I help business owners." Okay, it's a particular niche. If I say I help plumbers, it's more specific. Hey, and you're like, "Oh, I know a plumber," right? Makes me stand out, more unique, more specified. If you say, "Hey, I help people with physical ailments," or I help retired professional athletes who are struggling with chronic back pain. More specific, more targeted in my niche allows me to stand out. Yes. So you can stand out in the person you're helping. You can also stand out in the problem that you solve. So is the problem you solve specific, tangible, measurable? Is it investable? I can stand out in the outcome that I help people achieve. Correct? Once again, outcomes that are tangible and outcomes that are preferably visual. If someone can visualize in their mind's eye a snapshot of success very easily, you're going to get more yeses. But these are the ways you can differentiate yourself. There's another way, which I've just discussed. You can also differentiate yourself, stand out by having a unique vehicle, a unique method, modality, strategy that helps someone get from A to B. Right. So I want to, on this call, help you identify what your vehicle is and how to position it so that more people see you as the best option to solve their problems and achieve their outcomes. Sound good? Cool. So anything can be positioned as the vehicle. It's just some vehicles are perceived as stronger vehicles than others, more valuable than others. But anything can really be positioned as a main method modality strategy. I'm going to go over some, and you can see sort of the pros and cons of what most people do. So examples of a weak vehicle. A vehicle, in my opinion, is not your container. It's not your 30-day program challenge video series. It's not deliverables, right? So if I was to say, "Hey, I'm helping people with their back pain so that when they work with me, their back pain goes from an 8 out of 10 pain to a 2 or below, or a 3 or below out of 10. How do I do that? My 30-day program. Less compelling, right? People want to know the vehicle. People want to know, is it kinesiology? Is it chiropractic? Am I using sound waves and energy healing? Am I using, what is the method modality strategy, right? What is the vehicle that's getting me from A to B, from back pain to less back pain, right? Isn't it true the method modality strategy that someone positions is really important in that circumstance? But if I say, "Hey, the best thing that's going to get you from back pain to less back pain is my video series. It's my PDF that I've done for you." It's not a compelling vehicle, correct? What's also perceived as a weaker vehicle is a process you've named. So if I had, "Hey, I've helped people go from back pain, it's the super duper awesome Tyson Sharpe method," it's going to be perceived as less valuable because everyone's going to say, "Of course you're going to say that. It's your name." Right? Now you still can do that as long as the method modality strategy within your acronym of whatever you create is the main thing they see as valuable, right? Also, something that's very well known that everyone's already tried. If I say, hey, I'm going to help you lose stubborn belly fat, what we're going to do, pay attention here. We're going to put you on a diet. Everyone's going to be like, hey, I've done that. I've tried that before, right? They're looking for something they haven't done before. They're looking for something new, unique, something that's going to provide them with some kind of confidence and certainty that they can actually move from A to B. Yes? So what's a strong vehicle? You want to have someone think in their head when they see your message, they're like, oh my God, I need to learn that. It's something they feel like, oh, I haven't tried that yet. It's a secret sauce they haven't tried. It's the differentiator from alternatives that are not working. It's perceived as the missing piece of the puzzle that gets them to go further faster. I'm personally, I personally struggle a little bit with explaining a key vehicle. But do you understand roughly what I'm explaining here? We're explaining your unique method, modality, strategy, and there are some things you can position as the vehicle that are seen as really clear and compelling, and others that aren't. Right? So let's go through some examples. Let's find some vehicles. So type in the Zoom chat here. What are some different strategies, methods, modalities, vehicles to losing weight? If someone's going to help you lose weight, they're a weight loss coach. What are some strategies people can use in order to help you overcome that problem and achieve that outcome? Let's type in the chat. Let's get your brain moving a little bit. Okay. Hormone balancing. Cool. Calorie deficit. Yep. Calorie counting, which I hate. Mindset. Cool. What else? What are other methods, modalities, strategies that you can position as a vehicle? EFT tapping. Cool. Effective exercise. Yep. Hypnotherapy. Great. Focus on what you can eat more of rather than what you deprive yourself of. Cool. Eating what your body says it needs. Yeah, cool. Acupuncture. So these are all different vehicles, right? Now let's go. What are some different vehicles, methods, modalities, strategies for lead generation? Get your brain moving. If someone is a business coach helping you with lead generation, what can be a main vehicle they can position as the best method, modality, strategy to help you achieve that for lead generation? Type in the Zoom chat. Let's go. Outreach and referral. Yep. What else? Email marketing. Quiz diagnostic. Cool. Advertising, speaking. Posting smaller free offer. Networking. Reputations and referrals of success. Competitions, masterclass, holding. So there's a lot. Yes? All right, one more. What are some different strategies for wealth creation? Wealth creation, building your wealth over time. What are some methods, modality, strategies? A lot of you are saying to marry the rich. Correct. Ding, ding, ding. And I have a masterclass coming up on Friday Okay, let's have a look here. Property, investing, work 9 to 5, use financial planner, buy a Tesla lotto ticket. Yep, best of luck. Same sum everything make. Yeah, like a percentage. Cool. Business, residual income streams. Yeah. So you all understand. So if I'm a business coach, if I'm a weight loss coach, if I'm a wealth coach, if I'm running these sort of things, I can position myself with a vehicle so that I can, in my copy, in my content, in my conversations, I can almost sort of like plead a case. I can build a case on why this method modality strategy is the best vehicle that goes from A to B. Right. So let's have a like you can have a look at some of the weight loss examples we have here. And you can say calorie counting, cool. How effective would that be as a vehicle? How could I position that as a vehicle? Calorie counting is something probably everyone's already tried. Yes. Mindset, something that's very, very important. Probably something that people don't value as much, right? Because some people don't know they need mindset stuff. I would say things like EFT tapping hypnosis still works, could still be positioned as pretty important because just everyone knows they like emotionally eat, right? You, if I was doing that, I would create copy that says, "Hey, do you realize every single time you overeat, it's emotional, or every time you binge eat, it's emotional." I'd help them really reach that understanding to then say that's why calorie counting, this diet, paleo, whatever, doesn't work because you haven't actually addressed the underlying issue. And that's why you're eating the wrong things. It's emotional. Hence why we're going to do hypnotherapy to rewire that programming so that you don't actually want to eat the things that are bad for you. Something like that. But if I was to do another one, I would say, let's have a look here. Effective exercise. So some people are exercising, but they're just not doing it in the right way, right? Have you ever gone on a run or have you ever exercised 5 days a week, but you still haven't lost weight? Right? It's probably because you're exercising to build muscle, but not lose fat. I'm not a personal trainer, but hey, something in there. Hormone balancing, Raven says, could be a really cool vehicle. Probably not something people haven't heard of before. But you could say, if you've done everything with dieting and you've tried everything under the sun and you haven't been able to either lose the weight or keep it off, let me ask you, have you addressed your hormones? And you could build a message around hormones. Can you see when I do this, it helps me stand out if it's positioned correctly. It triggers the person's mind that says, "Oh, I haven't tried that yet. This must be a missing piece." That's the kind of response you want to elicit whenever you're positioning a key vehicle, method, modality, strategy. Make sense? What do I have here? So just some examples. I got Claude to write some of these up. So they're not 100% like perfect, but just some of the templates in which you may see this or you may phrase this when you're listing your business message. So some examples. I help long-term couples who feel more like roommates than lovers reignite deep connection and intimacy through playful practices of polarity. What's the vehicle? practices of deep polarity, right? I help singles who are matching with the wrong people online start attracting genuinely aligned partners by rebuilding their dating profile so it reflects their values. What's the vehicle? What's the vehicle? It's to rebuild their dating profile, right? So it reflects their values. Because if I say, hey, you're attracting the wrong people, I'm going to help you attract aligned partners. I'm going to help you attract the people that are actually aligned for your dating journey. You're going to think, how are you doing that? Right? What's your method, modality, strategy? I've tried a lot of different things. If I was this dating coach, I would build my message around why your profile is so important to reflect your values. Once again, I'm not, this isn't the perfect vehicle, but I'm just saying this is how you could phrase it or position it in a sentence. I help high income professionals who are trading time for money with nothing to show for it build lasting passive wealth by acquiring and managing cash flow rental properties. What's the vehicle? You can build wealth in many ways. This person's helping them by acquiring and managing cash flow rental properties. So they would position themselves as, why is acquiring and managing cash flow rental properties the best vehicle to go to build your wealth? Why it's better than dollar cost averaging into the stock market? Why it's better than Bitcoin and crypto? Why it's better than building your own business? Make sense? I help women over 40 who've tried every diet without lasting results lose stubborn weight and keep it off for good through a structured intermittent fasting protocol. What's the vehicle? Intermittent fasting. I'm fasting right now. So intermittent fasting is the vehicle. Last one, I help service-based business owners who can't rely on referrals for consistent leads build a steady pipeline of qualified prospects by growing and monetizing a YouTube channel. So this business coach would position their vehicle of building a YouTube channel as the best method, modality, strategy for lead generation, right? You could go into why building a YouTube channel builds the best warm audience, helps you get out there, how you structure the algorithm, how you meet new people, new prospects, right? If I was helping them build a podcast, I would explain why a podcast is way more effective than a Facebook group, YouTube channel, TikTok account. You know what I mean? Sorry for all those who love TikTok dances. Does this make sense? So the domino belief, I'll explain this and then I'll open up for some Q&A because I think there's going to be some questions. So the domino belief, the belief someone must have in order to say yes to your offer. And the domino belief, they need to believe that your vehicle is the best, most effective, aligned path to overcome their problem and achieve their desired outcome. They need to believe this, right? Especially if you're in a market. So if you're solving problems and helping people achieve outcomes, that's very well known, right? It's already well marketed. There's already a lot of options out there. There's a lot of alternatives. Positioning your vehicle is going to be very, very key to stand out. I should also say, to stand out, you don't need to be specific on all four of the niche problem outcome vehicle, but probably 2 out of 4 is a great start. Makes sense? 2 out of the 4. If you're very specific on all four, great. 3 out of 4, great. 2 out of 4 is probably the minimum. If you stand out, you need to have a really unique positioning. If only one of them is really specific, like maybe you have a health modality that no one's heard of before, but it's got, a lot of evidence for this sort of thing. But you want to just be thinking, how can I add another element? If I'm very unique in the problem I'm solving, how can I position a vehicle? Or if I have a vehicle that's very unique, how can I position that for a specific niche? You know what I mean? So you're playing with this. This is an art form where you're playing with it. You're saying, how can I help the most amount of people? How can I reach the most amount of people and attract the most amount of people to say yes to my stuff? What kind of combination do I need to have? What specificity for those 4 components do I need to have? And if I'm not specific enough, let me play with it. Make sense? So for example, my vehicle is helping people run quick win campaigns. So that's what my message is all about. That's the evidence I'm building, the case studies and testimonials is all about why running a quick win campaign is the best method, modality, strategy for lead generation than other things. Are the 4 components niche, problem, outcome, vehicle? Correct, Derek. That is correct. So this is what the domino belief template kind of looks like. This is what you can either think or how you can language it. So for your niche, so for women, vehicle, intermittent fasting is the most effective and efficient way to overcome weight loss and achieve, or weight gain and achieve weight loss. Right? So just a simple template here for your domino belief. The person needs to believe. For me, this vehicle is the most whatever superlative you want to put in there. Most effective, efficient, most aligned, most dominant, quickest way to overcome this problem that's meaningful for me and achieve this outcome that's meaningful for me. So you can put this in your copy and in your content and in your conversations. You're really building a case that supports your domino belief. You're building a case that helps people see why your method, modality, strategy is the best one for them. So you can, in your copy, in your conversations, in your content, you're reinforcing the niche, the problem, the outcome. You're consistently reminding people, but you're building leverage, right? In your copy, content, conversations, you're helping people understand what's the positive ripple effect if they do use your vehicle. What's the negative ripple effect if they don't use your vehicle? Obviously, building case studies, stories, testimonials. You're explaining mistakes that they keep making, they're keeping them stuck, right? So if I'm supporting women to lose weight through intermittent fasting, I could explain the mistakes that are keeping them stuck. I could explain, hey, when you're trying to lose weight and you're doing it through dieting, or you're doing it through exercise, you're doing it through X, Y, and Z, your body actually never gets a rest because you're never actually fasting. So it doesn't matter how much you eat, it matters when you eat to optimize for your body. Once again, I'm not a health expert, but you can see how that language would position fasting, intermittent fasting, as a vehicle that they're missing, right? If I have the tag or I have the overall belief, it's not how much you eat, but it's when you eat. Once again, don't know if that's true, but hey, you see where I'm going with this. Let me open up for questions. Questions, queries, comments. You can either type in the chat, you can raise your hand, do whatever you need to do. what I'd like you to do is type in the chat and share your vehicle. What is your vehicle, method, modality, strategy that's getting people from A to B? As you do that, I'm going to scroll through the chat, see if there's questions. So Beatrice says, Beatrice taking people to Paris on a retreat. She says, at the moment, I'm focusing on my vehicle being Paris, but don't really know how to present that as a strong vehicle. Mates perceived, okay. Yeah, so how you could position the vehicle in that case is to say, hey, it's very hard for you to solve a problem while in the same environment that the problem exists, right? And/or it's very hard to be in a, it's very hard to solve the problems that you're in business and achieve the outcomes that you're after while you're on the hamster wheel of what you're doing all day, every day. The most effective solutions come when you remove yourself from your consistent environment into something different. You could position it something like that, right? Where you say, removing yourself and joining a retreat outside your regular environment is the best way for you to have the ideas, the insights, the breakthroughs. They're going to take you to the next level. That's why I'm inviting people to Paris. Okay. Nate says, my vehicle is redesigning a marketing strategy plan that is the most effective for your specific business. I'd go more specific, like what specific marketing strategy, what specific method are you using for that marketing strategy? Because people aren't, once again, if someone says redesigning their marketing strategy plan, they're not going to be like, oh, of course. Well, I never think of that before. That's the missing piece. Like they're always trying to redesign their marketing strategy, correct? So if you position something that's unique, right? So what Nate's working on, the specific vehicle for you, Nate, would be effective storytelling. That's so, for example, everyone, if I was to say to you, hey, I'm going to help you generate warm conversations with leads and prospects by redesigning a marketing strategy plan, would you be interested in something like that? Compared to if I say, hey, if you're creating content and not getting the engagement that leads to warm conversations, I'm going to show you how you can use storytelling that pull people into your content the same way you're pulled into a really compelling movie. See the difference? Is your brain more likely to say, oh, I really need to learn how to redesign my marketing strategy plan? Or is your brain saying, oh, I need to learn how to have effective storytelling in my content? See the difference? There are just some vehicles that are more compelling than others. All right. Raven says, find your solutions within by embodying your multidimensional self to this frequency as a shift happens always from the inside out. So Raven, do you use like sound frequencies that we're using? Are you able to unmute? Maybe not.
Yeah, great question. No, it's more of an energy medicine, nervous system reset, and subconscious reprogramming. So it's a combination of all layers of ourselves, because embodying ourselves happens more than just at one level.
Yeah. So there's a lot of elements of this message that are pretty broad. So if it's up to me, I'd make it more specific and more tangible. However, you can position a vehicle in unique ways. So whether it is a unique strategy, so if you're using frequencies, sound healing, if you're using energy, whatever it may be, you can position that unique strategy as why that's the best method. Or you can have another way of explaining it, meaning what is the actual shift that happens within them, whether it's trauma healing, whether it's removing subconscious blocks, whether it's whatever, something that people already know they need to change within themselves, right? Like removing generational trauma. And you're explaining why this healing, why this method, modality, strategy is the best vehicle to help them do that. Go for it. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, it's not the same method for each person. It's kind of like when I was massaging, someone comes in and I need to address them at a different level. Someone could be the muscle, someone could be the fascia, someone could be at a visceral sense. It's the same thing, and what I'm doing is just in an energetic sense. So it's really hard to pinpoint it into one methodology to get to that solution, that embodiment within the person.
Yep. I understand that. And many people on this call and listening are going to be in the same situation as well. They're like, I use many modalities and strategies, to help someone go from A to B, and it depends on everyone's different. Cool. So you have options to either choose one of them, whatever one is best positioned, and go into that, go into that with your content, your content, your copy, and your conversations, so that when people are drawn into it, you just have other tools that they didn't even know about, right? They just need to see a vehicle as that. So, for example, I help people run quick win campaigns for their audience to generate leads, but we go into multiple things: their message, their offer, the conversations, the outreach, all these things. I could position any of those as a main vehicle. But I think, you can understand how positioning at least one of them is going to be compelling. Or you could keep the vehicle broad and go specific on two of the others, right? Two of the niche, the problem, and or the outcome. It's up to you. There are multiple ways of layering an empowering message. That's just one of them. Okay. Maybe we'll have a chat after this. We'll see what we can come up with, all right? Okay. Stephen says, my vehicle is a book that creates understanding and knowledge of the afterlife. Yeah, I think the method, modality, strategy, the vehicle isn't the book. Because people aren't going to be like, oh my God, did you say a book? What? Never heard of that before. What they're looking to learn, like you would need a position why knowledge of the afterlife is a best method, modality, strategy that helps them go from A to B, right? That's what I'm seeing. Just with the limited things you've mentioned here, I would think if the main principle of the book is to understand the afterlife, you would need to explain why that's a great vehicle to help people go from A to B, right? Like people are struggling in life. They don't understand what they're meant to be doing with their life. What are they here to contribute? What's the meaning? What's the meaning to all this? The solution to that confusion is to understand the afterlife. The afterlife is positioned as the vehicle that goes from confusion to where they want to go, which is more understanding, more purpose, whatever it may be. All right. Derek, how does this sound? So we've all tried reaching people by ourselves. It's time to enjoy reaching the world together as a community. Derek, you able to jump on?
Yep.
So Derek runs a community. So your method, modality, strategy is what? Is the community itself? It's something within the community. What do you think?
It's a good question because I haven't quite formulated it, articulated it clearly, but it's really reversing we need to stand out by ourselves to we need to draw people into a broad community that works for everybody.
Yep. So you'll need to explain why your community is unique, right? So then you can position that as the main method, modality, strategy, because people join your community because they have problems, and they're going to need to see your community as the solution, right? So you need to position why your community is so important, whether it's they all have the same aligned energy, they all have the same, they're all focusing on the same goal. It's the accountability, it's the support. You're doing unique things within there, right? I mean,
Yeah, and
similar.
that's the thing. It turns into a list,
Mhm.
but that's all part of it.
Yeah, it can turn into a list, but you just choose the main things on that list that are going to make the message most effective, right? Cool. Ruth says, "Is your vehicle your funnel?" No. Like if I was to say, "Hey, I'm going to help you go from A to B," um, you know, the best way to go from A to B is to jump into my funnel. Not really powerful, is it? Your funnel is more of the strategy. How are you bringing people in? How are you building them into warm, raving fans? And then offering them something of value in exchange for money, right? That's your funnel. Many, many ways of doing that. A particular, like when you say, is your vehicle your funnel? Your vehicle fits into your funnel. Your vehicle is positioned within your funnel as to why people, your vehicle explains why people need to jump into your funnel, right? That's how I would say that. Is Ruth still on here? Don't think so. She needs to jump off. All right. Okay. Vehicle. Do anyone have any quick questions before I continue?
I just wanted to say something, Tyson,
Yeah, go for it, Rachel.
about or ask Derek as his vehicle. I thought a book would be a good vehicle, but I understand what you mean. But what I want to know is he's saying that creates understanding and knowledge of the afterlife. So why is that so important to know about that? Is that part of the vehicle or not?
Well, like I said, I'm only working off the two sentences Stephen gave me. Or like
Okay.
the one sentence that Stephen gave me. I don't know what's in his book.
Right. Now, I just thought I gave him that question because that's coming up for me straight away. Um, why is that so important to know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like why is understanding the afterlife so important from going from A to B, problem
Yeah,
to outcome? Um,
just as an extra thought.
yeah, cool. Marcia, you have your hand raised? Go for it. Unmute yourself. I'll ask you to unmute. There you
Hi, Tyson. So, I'm going to put my hand down because it's distracting.
go. Yeah, go for it. Ask a question.
So in the chat, I put, I do one-to-one coaching and just any feedback. The creative pivot, clarity, alignment, movement, transformational coaching for creative professionals ready for their next chapter.
Yeah. So that's sort of like a tagline that doesn't really mention like what you're positioning as your vehicle is really clarity, alignment, movement, something like that. Those three things are the best ways to go from to get you ready for your next chapter. Now, all that's very broad, so we need to make it more specific. If it's to be a really clear and compelling message, but you need to sort of dive into what is it you're doing within your transformational coaching that's really pulling people in that says, oh my God, that's the answer, right? That's what I'm missing. That's my missing piece. That's the secret sauce. That's what I haven't tried yet. You know what I mean? That's what you need to That's what you need to find within yourself, within your delivery, within your coaching, to help people have that kind of reaction.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of that on my website, but what you're saying is I need to bring something punchy into that, my tagline branding
Yep.
message.
Yep.
Okay, I have been working on this for so long and my computer's doing weird things.
That's all right.
Of course.
Here's what we'll do. Because we're running out of time. We've got 7 minutes. So what I'll do is I'll finish my slides and then I'll get back to the questions. Whoever can stay back to have your questions answered, I'll stay back too. But you all voted to have these sessions go for 60 minutes, not 90 minutes. So I'm going to...
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm going to stick to that. What I'll do, because I see Jeff and Hans, you have your hand raised, and I'll get back to you as well. I'll finish my slides and then we'll leave it open for Q&A, because this next section might help a few of you. So the exercise, I want you to start to be on the lookout for other people's message, other people's vehicle, their method, modality, strategy, and just ask yourself, is this positioned as a real clear and compelling vehicle or not? Right? Just get the ball rolling as soon as you see other people's messages, and say, do they have a clear and compelling vehicle? If not, what could be different? And I watched a James Wedmore training video the other day. Was it yesterday? And I thought this was really helpful. This example, when he was helping people understand their vehicle, and this lady said, I help overgiving women start saying yes to themselves through transformational coaching. So transformational coaching was placed as the vehicle. Now, that's not a very compelling vehicle, because people aren't thinking, oh my God, transformational coaching, of course. Why hadn't I thought of that before? That's something I need to understand and learn. No. But when you dive deeper and you think, okay, what is it about transformational coaching that's going to help these women go from giving to everyone else to start looking after themselves? Setting boundaries, a bit more of a clear and compelling message in terms of the vehicle, right? I could position setting boundaries as the main method, modality, strategy, the thing that's key and core to stop overgiving and start looking after yourself. Yes? We could go even deeper than that and say, sometimes people don't really, when you're teaching people to set boundaries, some people don't really see themselves as needing help saying no. Right? If I said, hey, the key piece to all of this transformation is to start saying no, people aren't going to say, okay, where's the 5-week course for me to learn how to say no? You know what I mean? Does this make sense? Getting into the minds of your ideal clients and thinking, are they going to perceive that they need help with that? Compared to an even deeper one is to heal their inner trauma. The reason why they're struggling to say no is because they have some inner trauma that they need to clear, right? So I could position this in an even stronger manner by saying, you probably already know you need to say no more often. You probably already know you need to set more strong boundaries. That's why healing your inner trauma is the key to setting strong, healthy boundaries. You see how that's positioned as healing inner trauma is positioned as a stronger vehicle in this case, because it's something you perceive, something your mind says, yeah, I think I need help with that. I can't do it myself, right? It's something I need to learn, understand. I need help with this. Compared to if I say, hey, the key is to say no. The key is to say no more often. The key is to set this boundary and hold it. It's perceived as, it's less perceived as I need help with that. I would like to learn that. Does that make sense? I thought this was a really good example of going from transformational coaching, setting boundaries, healing in a trauma. I thought it was really great anyway. So I already got you to place your vehicle in the chat and have a bit of a discussion. So this week, main key here, I'm going to be doing more exercises and giving you prompts in the school community for those of you who have joined that. But this is what I'm going to do. I also have the recordings posted in the school community as well. I thought that would be a good place to house them, as well as the YouTube channel. But this week, understand what your compelling vehicle is if you do choose one. Know why it's the best vehicle for your niche to achieve what they want. And then start adding this knowledge into your content, your copy, and your conversations. So this is more of it. This is the tangible takeaway. You just understand what a vehicle could be, or what you could position as a vehicle within what you do for people. Understand why it's the best vehicle for them to go from A to B, why it's better than alternatives, and start letting people know. Start letting people know in your content, your copy, conversations. Make sense? For those of you who need to jump off, feel free to jump off, because we're up to the hour mark, but I'm happy to stay back for more questions, queries, comments, if I can help and be of service in that way. So, Jeff.
Yeah, just two things. With you were talking the last slide about your offer. Firstly, offering something at a discounted price, limited to the first 3 people or something. Do you think that's in this day and age a good idea, or you think people are cynical and find it too corny?
It can be. So what you're asking here is positioning limited number of spots corny, salesy, compared to, is it actually a good business strategy?
Yeah, so you're discounting. Let's say you're discounting your coaching package from $9.95 to $7.95, and limited to 3 spots.
Yep.
That's an example.
Yes, it's effective. One, if it's congruent.
What does congruent mean? I don't know.
If you're telling the truth.
Okay. Yeah.
You need to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And then you also need to explain why. So
Okay.
if it's truthful and then you explain why, then yes, it can work.
Well, it's difficult to explain why. Obviously, you can't give away too much money, and you've only got so much time. You're not going to tell them that, are you?
Yes, you can. You can position it and say, look, I'm discounting this from this to this for 3 people, and here's why.
Okay.
I'm looking to build my case studies and testimonials.
Yeah.
I'm looking to do X, Y, and Z. I'm testing a new thing. I need people to test it for me. I can't take on more than 3 because I don't have. I have 3 hours, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
All right. And the second question, and I've asked quite a lot of people, and I get a very mixed response. And you're the expert in this. What's your honest opinion about offering a guarantee?
A guarantee is great.
Yeah.
And here's why: you can offer a guarantee, which reduces the risk and increases the value. I like it because it gets you great at your stuff. Like it positions value up front.
Yeah.
When you have a guarantee, you also have to have what they're going to do.
Okay.
So you position, if you say, right, I'm going to have, I guarantee X, Y, and Z, then you can say, and if you don't achieve X, Y, and Z by this date or whatever, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I'm putting something together, And I'll just quickly tell you, I know you're short of time, a really quick one. This is a true story. A Brisbane photographer offered a guarantee that if the wedding photos weren't suitable for the bride and groom, he'd recreate the wedding ceremony and pay $10,000 out of his back pocket. And he became the most popular photographer. He never had to ever redo one. And that he put his money on the line.
I love that. I think more people should be big and bold with their guarantees.
Yeah.
It's actually great for marketing. It is actually really, really good for marketing.
Yeah.
But it also, the more volume you get because of your big guarantee, the better you're going to get at delivering your stuff.
Yeah.
You do want to have, like I said, you do want to have what they're going to do to meet you halfway. So people can't just show up and not do your thing and not follow your stuff and be like, I didn't achieve what you said. You have to be very clear on the action steps they need to take to meet you halfway to say that. But a guarantee can be money back. It can be I'll work with you until. It can be I'll give you a couple bonus sessions. Some people have said within guarantees, I won't only give you your money back, I'll pay you double.
Yeah, I've heard that one. Yeah,
these sort of things. Yeah, I think people can be big and bold with their guarantee.
Anyway, I'm going to take a risk, and I'm going to really go for it.
Yep.
Even though some people think it's stupid, but I'm willing to do it.
Test anything, and here's the thing: if it flops, cool, tweak it.
Yeah.
Right, tweak it. But yeah, I think with guarantees, it's worth playing around with.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All good. Other queries, questions, comments? Anything around this topic? Anything that you think would be helpful to you? Real good?
Just be aware that people will play the system.
Yeah, exactly. You're talking about the guarantees, Hans?
Yeah, because we do a money back performance guarantee on our supplements. If you commit to 60 days on a subscription to any of the scanner certified supplements, we guarantee to raise your score or you get your money back. And that's a pretty gutsy and unique performance guarantee in that industry of nutritional health. But people have gamed that guarantee where they give their supplements to their wives. Yeah, they get the 2 months for their wife to take it, and then they scan themselves again, and their score does not go up, so they get their supplements for free.
Well, that's very disappointing.
Well, here's what I would say.
That's also just like I say, it's why I like outreach and referral. I do not really feel comfortable in having leads generated from the big masses of the people out there that I do not know, that have not come to me with a recommendation or a referral.
Well, don't give them a guarantee. If you sign me up, don't give me a guarantee until only give guarantees to people that you know, like, and trust. Don't give it to me.
A good thing there, Jeff. You don't have to do guarantees for everyone. And what Hans is referring to here is a very, a large organization. What I would say is if you are doing it at volume, you need to know the math to say, okay, if I do this guarantee, there are going to be some people who game the system, and there are going to be some people who, ask for their money back, whatever. It's a given. By placing this guarantee, is the upside of the amount of volume I get worth the downside of some people who are going to game the system? So am I actually helping more people overall and creating more change and transformation for people because of this guarantee, even if some people are going to game the system and they're going to take advantage of it? That's a math equation.
If only 5% cheat, it's a win. It's a win-win.
Yeah, if you attract 50% more volume because of the guarantee and 5%, game the system and screw you over, then it's net positive, right? Different business models for different people. See what fits. Arnie, what do you got for us?
Real quick, I remember one of our conversations, Tyson, that we had a while back. it was about guarantee. And in my courses, I never give any guarantees. And one of the things you mentioned is to change it in a sense of I don't give guarantees like money back guarantees because how much I believe in my product. And I really like that approach because I know if you do the techniques, they are going to work.
Mhm.
And so there is no way I'm going to give you money back guarantee because I believe in my product.
Yeah. So there's different ways you can position things, right? And you need to ask yourself, because of what I deliver, because of the niche I have, because of the way in which I market, let me position something and see if it works, right? Because some people may say, I deliver things and I know it works, therefore there's a guarantee. Other people can be like, hey, I don't need a guarantee because my stuff is so good and people refer me and whatever. I don't actually need to guarantee because I already have enough people coming to me because my stuff is world class. So it's how you position yourself and how people perceive that, which is going to allow it to work and not work. Now, the good thing about business, you can test and tweak different messages, see what works, what doesn't work, and go with the thing that does work. Go with the thing that is aligned for you. Go with the thing that feels the most expansive for you. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thanks, Tyson. It was
Hopefully
great.
that helped. I'll see you same day and time next week.
All right.
Put it on your calendar. If you have any questions, let me know. Jump into the serving circle, create your post, and hopefully this helps. Let me know if you have any other further questions. All right.
All right. Thanks, mate. Bye.
Thank you all. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.